Bartenders, what's the smoothest pickup lines you've heard? Viewers Edition. Story 1. At college, I used to frequent a cheap, somewhat dodgy bar. Loud music, broke students at happy hour. I went there mainly because I had a crush on a cute, but feisty, short blonde bartender. Which was never happening, because she was she and I was shy. So one day I was out the back, smoking a J. My friends had left, and I was finishing up, when said blonde, feisty girl came out to throw something away. She sees me and proceeds to completely chew me out, 'cause they don't need trouble with the authorities, yada yada. I said sorry, completely mortified, and went back inside to sit with my friends. Half an hour later, she's just cleaning up the mess left behind after happy hour, carrying a tray full of leftover drinks, when some drunk oaf walks into her. She trips, and all the glasses of leftover beer, sticky cocktails, and Red Bull go flying right over me, mainly my jeans and shoes. So I'm soaked and surrounded by broken glass. She comes over with a look of horror on her face and says, "Oh, I'm so sorry. It was an accident and has nothing to do with before. I'd never do anything like that." I just looked at her and said, "Well, if I hadn't done that before, I might be ticked off now, but so, no worries. I saw it was an accident," and gave her my best. It's an okay smile. Her face melted, from super anxious to elated and friendly. I tried to help her clean up the mess, but she dragged me to the bar and stuck me on a stool at her corner, gave me some wipes to clean up, and instructed her colleagues that my tab was on her tonight. I sat there the rest of the night and happily chatted with the bar staff and her. After doing her rounds, it was getting to closing time, and she leaned in and asked me how I was doing. I said, "I'm drunk, I'm high, and now I'm dry and somewhat sticky." She looked me in the eyes, and in the warmest voice, she said, "Let's get you home now, to clean you up and get you wet and sticky again." And so it was. We dated for over 2 years after that night. Very nice, sweet girl. Story 2. I used to go to an old man's bar. Old man bars are places retired men go to drink away their golden years after their wives pass away. The place was great, but you had to respect what the bar was. A place with cheap beer, but you had to be quiet. You could get a big steak for $6, but you had to buy at least 3 beers. Younger people could go to the bar, but couldn't swear or be loud. So there was this young guy, about 21, who looked like he had been beaten up. He was a regular, and the owner of the bar took care of his regulars. When the owner saw the busted guy come to the door and help himself to a spot at the end of the bar, the owner was nice to the guy. They talked to each other all night. There were these 2 girls, and they were new. They were okay, but they drank too much and got obnoxious. I was waiting for them to get the boot. It was a busy night making steaks and baked potatoes. The busted up guy was at the end of the bar by himself, so the 2 girls went to talk to him. We were all watching them. We saw them talking, but heard nothing. Then the busted up guy said, "Could you leave me alone? I'm not comfortable with you." The owner heard that and told the girls to leave the guy alone. They got offended and started swearing and yelling. The owner pushed them both out and locked the door. They started to kick the door, but the police station was across the street. They were arrested. Story 3. Not a bar story, but my sister had her friends over once for a bit of a party, and a couple minutes in, we were sitting all on a table while my sister and one of her friends are trying to get this chocolate fountain to work. I'm sitting at the opposite end. Next to me is my boy, and on my right side is her other friend who's eating the chocolate off a spoon. I decide, screw it, let's mess around and find out. So as she's legit sucking on a spoonful of chocolate, I turned to her and hit her with the, "Dang, girl, what that mouth do?" To which she replied, "Oh, you don't want to know." At this point, all sense of self-awareness left my body, and I retaliate with, "Well, I'm trying to find out." She giggles off and shortly after had to leave, but I turned back to my boy, who witnessed the entire thing unfold, and he's shocked and is like, "Dude, what the F?" Me, unaware of what I'd said, replies, "What?" To which he says, "Bro, I didn't know you were this slick with it." That was one of the smoothest lines I've ever heard. My guy still looking like he witnessed the holy grail of pickup lines. And then what I had said clicks to me, and unfortunately I didn't have the time to elaborate on that conversation with her, but I would have taken her from her man with a couple more exchanges, I'm certain. Story 4. Wasn't me, but a coworker, a group of 3 girls, regulars, enter, and my brand new 3rd day on the job coworker takes an instant interest in one of them girls. The girl he was interested in comes to order for the three. They were regulars, so we didn't see a problem. He asks for identification. I tell him, she's a usual, you don't need to card her. He replies, man, can't you make it easy to get a cute girl's address? Girl blushes, yada yada yada. The girl writes her number on a napkin, but teases him by only flashing it to him for a second as she leaves the counter. What she didn't know was that he has insane memory. Later, he takes his break, walks over to her, takes out his phone, and says, number, each number one by one, as he types them in before texting something, then saying, that's your number, right? Loud, audible ping as she gets a message. I later found out this message read, I get off at 10. I can give you a ride if you need it. Smoothest stuff I've ever seen. Story 5. This just reminded me of a time I went to a rock metal club and was dancing in a cage. You can slide in if you're slim, or slide round the back for a bigger gap. But I remember seeing a girl and thought she was cute. Then I see a guy following her with champagne. So I thought, oh, she's taken, and carried on dancing. Next thing I know, she's in the cage. I give her a smile and headbang to say, enjoy yourself. She asks another girl if we're together, and she said, he's all yours. The funny part was nothing happened for a good 5 minutes, just dancing. Then a bit of chatting. My friend leans over and says, take the hint. Me, being autistic as heck, asked if she wanted anything, like a drink or something. And she said no. I said, a kiss. Then she started kissing me. Also, the guy with the champagne was a stranger. I don't know why he bought champagne and tailed a girl around, but I know she was leaving soon and was curious about me, apparently. Story 6. A friend and I tried total crap pickup lines when out drinking, and to our surprise, some actually worked. The best ones I'd witnessed were, hey, want to have the best lover around? No? Then I'm the right guy. My dong might not be big, but at least it's thin. I might not know what to do, but I will do it for as long as you want. And some more. I seem to get along with almost everyone while drunk, so I sometimes just joined a group and started talking with them. Everyone assumed I was the friend of someone else within the group, and many times I'd score, or just have a great evening with total strangers. Best thing about it was meeting them again on other nights out. I miss those days. Story 7. How do you play Hangman with someone without saying a word? And how do you get someone to guess your phrase, which spells out, can I have your number? Because, you know, at the beginning of the game, the paper is empty. Imagine someone coming to you with only the underscores and trying to get you to start guessing letters to spell out a question that a person who doesn't speak has. And the only thing that can come out of it is you answering a question, or else you fail the game and lose. I mean, if the girl lost the game and didn't get to read, can I have your number? The guy wouldn't even have asked his question to her. What the frick is this stuff? Story 8. More cheese than smooth, and of course utterly accidental because this would never work when I was trying. Introductions. And this is my friend Will. Her. Did she say Will? Me, slightly buzzed. Yep, as in wherever I am, there's a way. Can't remember her name, but she was cute. Sober cute, not drunk cute. Also, I was married. So when I found her number in my coat pocket, I just marked it as a win and tossed the number. Divorced 10 years later, and no one was up to shenanigans. Story 9. I'm not a bartender, but a truck driver since before the story. I went to a bar with a buddy of mine and was there for about 5 hours total. We closed the bar down, and about 11 o'clock, the upstairs bar, the Harley bar, closed, and the 2 bartenders up there came down to drink. After a while, my buddy was going on about how big his sausage in his pants was, and then 2 large numbers, like you got a small one, and noticed I wasn't saying anything. I bet he has a big one. I said, nope, I got a small one, and said, okay, you just got a big one then. After that, I drank for free for the rest of the night. The 3 bartenders is buying me drinks. Story 10. Not at a bar, but in my college classroom, I got a girl's number from my 3D animation class about a week ago without even realizing I got her number, with little more than me simply asking for an entirely different reason. She wanted to stay connected with the class, so I offered her my number in case my social media somehow messed it up. Only when my friends and fellow classmates, who were sitting right next to her, complimented me on how smooth I was for achieving that did it dawn on me. Note to self, if I ever have a love interest, I should ask while completely oblivious to my own intentions. Story 11. The only line you'll ever need is, does this rag smell like chloroform to you? Or maybe, will you be walking to your car alone later? Or get your coat, it's pretty cold in the trunk of my car. Then there's the classic, you don't sweat much for a fat lass. Or my go-to line, face facts, you're not going to get any better offers. I used to get slapped a lot in my clubbing youth. I had a mate whose line was, want a bone? He'd try that dozens of times until one would say, yeah, okay. I'm not sure if he was a genius or a psycho. Story 12. I'm not a bartender, but I was at a bar when this happened, and I want to tell you the story. It was a gay bar. I'm not gay, but my friend is, and he insisted I come with him. Next to me, this guy went up to another guy, and the first guy was hammered. He said to the second guy, I'm gonna buy you a drink, and if you get drunk, you sleep with me. The second guy drunk his drink, turned around and said he already is. He got up, took his hands, and walked out. I hope they had fun. P.S. He wasn't even buzzing. He just wanted a good time. Story 13. Best one I received was me and a couple other people who were playing Cards Against Humanity. I was confident that the card I had was going to win, so I said, might as well give me that card now, and laughed mischievously afterwards. The card picked was not mine, and the pretty girl sitting across the table who just won that round looked me dead in the eye and said, nah, I'll take that. I do have a card you can take, though, followed by a flirty wink. Nothing happened. I was way too shy to say anything. Story 14. My own bartender story. A cute young girl walked up to me and said, hey, could I buy you a drink? You've been working pretty hard tonight. Honestly, I'm kinda socially awkward and I don't even drink. I just work the bar because I'm in college and it makes decent money. Using my instinctual humor, I replied, sorry, but several other girls have already offered me that, and if I said yes to all of them, I wouldn't be able to do my job. She hung around until close, and we've been dating since. Story 15. American here. When I was 19, I went to a pub with a friend, placed my food order with the girl at the counter, and asked for a beer. After I handed her my military ID card, she looked at the date of birth and said, you're not 21. I said, I know, I'm hoping you'll serve me anyway. I was honestly just angling for the beer, but when she gave me a cheeky smile and said, thank you for your service, I added, and how about your phone number too? It worked, and we went on a couple of dates. Story 16. Okay, I got picked up once when I was bartending. Hard to believe, right? I chatted with this chick for a while, got caught up in work for a while, and then when I tried to pick up where we left off, she said, I've already decided to go home with this guy, pointing to the guy next to her. It sparked something deep and fundamentally competitive in me, and I ended up going home with her. We are still friends years later. Story 17. Not a bartender, but was working at a pizza place. Girl came in for some lunch takeout, placed her order, and I said, okay, and your phone number? She looked confused and said, oh, I'll just wait here for it. I just smiled and said, oh, I know, I just wanted your phone number. I got that number after a laugh from her and a shocked and amazed stare from the high schooler who was on shift with me. Story 18. When I was 20, I went into a pub with the boys. We were chill, and then one of the bros said, you see that chick? If any of you guys get her number, I'll do the laundry for a week. So we agreed first one to go was me. So I met up with her with a napkin and a pen, put them in front of her, looked her straight into the eyes, and said, you know the rules, and so do I. It's been 2 years, and we live together now. Story 19. When I was 18, the bartender asked my uncle to plug me with her. Now that I see this smile every week at my job, I really would need that at my place. She was like 10 years older and very pretty, but I had a girlfriend back then. I was shy and all I could do was to smile just a little more. She thought it didn't work, so she brought me a free beer, but that time I really had to tell her that somebody was waiting for me at my apartment. I never saw her doing stuff like that. Story 20. I don't know if it's in here, but it's not smooth at all, but more of a brute force type of approach that I used to use when I actually went out in my early to mid-20s. Walk up to a chick, ask, hey, you want to leave and go out for pizza and a bone? When she inevitably says no, or any derivative of it, I immediately responded with, what, you don't like pizza? You'd be astounded how often it worked. Story 21. One of the worst anti-pickup lines I could think of, using prop to worsen the effect, would be going to the hottest girl in a pub or a club with Corona beer, and while handing it to her, casually dropping, your smile is even more contagious than that, and then nonchalantly proceeding to leave, flushed up your ears. Story 22. I was introduced to a new friend group in community college and began shaking everybody's hands. When I got to her, she said, most guys don't shake a girl's hand. So I responded, "Oh, well, I'm not most guys," without even thinking. Dated briefly and have never been so smooth in my entire life. Story 23. Waitress comes up to our table of 3 guys. We make small talk. Then I say, "So, when are we going out?" Worked like a charm. Fantastic lay. Little did I know she was already pregnant from the last guy who charmed her. Peace, deuces, have a nice life, moving on. Story 24. Oh, wow, that must be something to witness. Best one, I think, were the drink till you find me attractive one, especially since the woman's response was almost always smooth as frick. And the one where he hands her the phone in selfie camera mode. Dang, that is so slick. Story 25. I was tending bar one time, and the bar was closing. This guy and girl were dating, but not living together. When the girl said she had to go home, the guy told her, "You're not going anywhere till you kiss the big fellow." She didn't get angry. She just said, "Okay." Story 26. Question, bartenders, what's the smoothest pickup lines you've heard? Answers, I'm not a bartender, but... People really can't read and comprehend, can they? Story 27. Not a bartender, but the smoothest line I've ever heard is, "Are you glowstone? 'Cause you light up my life." And for people who don't know what glowstone is, you have no business reading this comment. Story 28. I found that the best pickup lines I've ever used were just being really good at karaoke and making eye contact at just the right points in the song. This has worked every time. Story 29. I walked up to a girl in a bar, saying, "Hi there, you look thirsty." And she said, I would love a drink." We didn't work out, but we're still friends. Story 30. Not a bartender, but if you ever see a cute girl and she asks you what's your name, just say, "Most people call me Ben, but you can call me anytime." Story 31. Are you from Tennessee? 'Cause you're the only 10 I see. A boy in my year 10 textiles class when I was 15. I'm 35 now. Also, I'm a dude. Story 32. That gay bar one just made me think. Hyper-masculine voice. Real men understand each other without words. Story 33. I got my wife by walking up and telling her, "Look at those legs go up and make a butt of themselves." Story 34. It's mind-blowing how cracking a joke to a stranger can get you into a long-term romantic relationship. Story 35. I may not be the best-looking guy here, but I'm the only one talking to you. A lesson we can all learn. Story 36. Best one, walk up behind a woman at a bar and whisper in her ear, "Come with me and nobody gets hurt." Story 37. Pickup line from ugly guy equals creepy and cringe. Pickup guy from good-looking guy equals bold and confident. Story 38. I'm not a bartender, but I heard someone say, "People call me Dylan, but you can call me anytime." Story 39. Hey baby, are you an angel? 'Cause I'm allergic to feathers. Projectile vomits. Story 40. These are mad bad. The best one is, "Hey girl, can I buy you a drink?" Works every time. Story 41. When I see a drunk guy complaining about something, I say this, "Oh, quit your whining." Story 42. Are you the periodic table? 'Cause we got chemistry. Please leave your stories in the comments. I'd love to make a video of them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.